Hello, we're in Algebra 2, Chapter 6, Section 6. This is page 3 of the notes, and this is one very long example. It probably seems somewhat intimidating. I don't blame you if you're intimidated by it. If you think, oh, it's long, I'm good, great. But either way, we can work through this together. I can tell you that hopefully with practice, kind of what to do with each step won't be an issue of memorizing. It will be an issue of kind of noticing the pattern of what's going on. Now let's look here. We have this thing we're meant to solve, this equation, and it's got square roots on both sides, and that actually isn't the problem. The thing that's going to make it be bad is the part that's not in the square root. This is the part you will learn later you don't really like, but hey, what you gonna do? So let's see what we can do. We have to begin by squaring each side. So here's the thing. We're gonna do root x plus 6 plus 2 squared equals, and then here we have root 10 minus 3x squared. We squared each side of the equation. And then over on the left here, we had this thing. Now, remember, this means square root of x plus 6 plus 2 times square root of x plus 6 plus 2. And if you FOIL that out, you get x plus 6, and then you get 4 times the square root of x plus 6, and well, then you get 4. And that's what happens when you FOIL that out. That might be something we need to talk about in class, just to see exactly how that works out. But it's a true statement, I promise. Over on the right, pretty easy. You're squaring a square root, so you just go ahead and write 10 minus 3x. That's frankly not very exciting. Okay, here's the thing you're going to have to believe me on. You squared it to get rid of the square root, but then you'll see you still have a square root in it, and that's a problem. So we need to move everything else away from the square root. So we're going to isolate it. So we're going on the left we're going to have well, what are we going to do? We're going to subtract the 4 from both sides, and we're also going to subtract the 6 from both sides. I guess on the right, the 6 will have to get in line for after the 4. We're also going to subtract that x from both sides. So on the left, we have 4 square root x plus 6. And on the right, we have simply negative 4x. The 10 minus 4 minus 6, that went to 0. We had negative 3x minus x. Now if you divide both sides by 4, you get square root of x plus 6 equals negative x. And this is now so much better than it was before, right? If you compare this with what you had at the beginning, this is a much simpler problem. And it says square each side again, so we can square each side again. So we had a square root of x plus 6 squared equals negative x squared. Boom. Now I need to move on to a different sheet because I've run out of room. So bear with me just briefly here. This is the same line I just had before. Square root of x plus 6 squared. That's a crummy squared. There we go. Equals negative x squared. Now that was already on your sheet if you were with me. And then you square both sides. On the left, this time it's easy because it's just a square root squared, just x plus 6. On the right, it's, well, it's x squared. Now, it says write in standard form, which basically means, 0, excuse me, which basically means 0 equals something. So 0 equals, we have x squared move that x over, so minus x, move the 6 over, minus 6. Poof. Then we go ahead and factor. Factoring's pretty easy-ish for this problem. It's x minus 3, x plus 2. Poof. And then it says zero product property. It just basically means what are the two baby equations you're trying to solve. And so you've got your answers. X equals 3, or in fact, x equals negative 2. Solved. Aha. But not checked. So bear with me as I rewrite on a new layout here. Now, we really got to do this checking. Again, you don't know which number is right, which number is wrong, or conceivably they could both be right. Square root of, going back to the original equation. The original equation. Don't check some way halfway along. It just leads to pain and unhappiness, and then when you're trying to check your check with a friend, it leads to loneliness because you did something different than them and stuff. It's not good. So go ahead, you put 3 in for x in the original equation, square root of 3 plus 6 plus 2. And then it's got that equals, and then you have square root of 10 minus 3 times 6. So we're talking about on the left, we've got square root of 9 plus 2 equals, and then we have you know what, I messed up. I'm sorry. It should not have been a 6 I put in there. It should have been a 3 because I'm putting the number in for x. Sorry about that. So square root of 10 minus 9, so square root of 1. So we're talking about square root of 9 plus 2 on the left. That's talking 3 plus 2, so that's 5 equals 1. And we say with great confidence that that's a bunch of baloney. Not happening. Okay. Now we got to do negative 2. Negative 2. Same business. Putting it in for x, both sides of the original function. Excuse me, the original equation. On the left, we have square root of negative 2 plus 6 plus 2 equals, and then we have square root of 10 minus 3 times negative 2. So on the left, we're talking about square root of 4 plus 2 equals, and then we have square root of 16. On the left, that's 2 plus 2, that's 4. Square root of 16 is 4. And this is happiness, happiness, happiness. They actually work. So the only solution is negative 2. The apparent solution, 3, is extraneous. So negative 2 is our solutionness of happiness. But you really can only figure that out by checking. So I really need to emphasize the need to check. And then back on this problem, you have to square once, clean it up as much as possible, then square again. You should be rid of square roots by then. Thank you for watching.